The Reclaim Pride Resistance contingent was about 2,000 people from dozens of progressive and radical organizations. Next, you'll hear some of the voices that the increasingly conservative and corporate Heritage of Pride parade organizers tried to disperse. Marchers expressed views on prison abolition, pinkwashing, nuclear disarmament, gun control, AIDS drug pricing, and much more.
My name's Eustacia Smith, and I'm here today because Heritage of Pride is more interested in getting corporate support than actually representing the community. They don't represent me as a community member or anybody I know, any of the community groups that I know. They're far more interested in having corporate support of this parade, which is a parade now. It's not a march at all, it's a parade. It says wristbands limit people, because this is a change that Heritage of Pride has instituted. They're not allowing people into the parade without a approved wristband, which is this, people used to love coming to this parade and jumping in to march with the various groups they identified with, and that is no longer allowed according to Heritage of Pride.
My name is Steve, and I'm here with Jewish Voice for Peace. I'm here as part of the resistance contingent because this year the parade organizers have made participation in the parade contingent on wearing a wristband and restricting the number of wristbands that are available to activist groups. And if this parade should be anything, it should be about our activism.
Hi, my name is Cynthia. I'm with the Jewish Force for Peace. Originally, I came here to end pinkwashing, or to bring more awareness to pinkwashing. We can't support Israeli apartheid, and I think that's super important, especially for queers. I'm also here as part of the resistance contingent to try and to resist the HOP. Anybody who wants to be a part of Pride and has a message, a positive message, should be able to come here, regardless of whether or not they have a corporate backer or a wristband. There's no room for barricades in Pride. That's exactly what the point is of Pride, ideally. Someone was a riot. We can't forget that. So, yeah, that's why I'm here.
Queers don't deny it! Someone was a riot! Queers don't deny it! Someone was a riot!
I'm Brandon Quickie. My name is Brandon Quickie. I'm here from ACT UP. I came in with the Wristband Resistors, which was a contingent or an affinity group of the Reclaim Pride Coalition. We marched down from 23rd Street without wristbands. Well, I had a lot of wristbands on, but as a joke. But we as a group came down without wristbands and requested entry into the resistance contingent, which we were told was not arrestable and implied that it would not be blocked. And after a little bit of a slight confrontation with HOP officials, we were admitted entry, and everyone who wanted entry came in kind of through the barricades, and gradually the barricades kind of were pulled away, basically, so that anybody could come in, which is what we want, which is what our group wants. Then, as some protesters were standing by the barricades to make sure that no one else was blocked entry after we came in, and so people were chanting, and HOP officials closed the barricade along with the help of the NYPD. They closed the barricades again, and people chanted and tried to open them up. Then a swarm of NYPD on bikes came and actually blocked the street. Which was kind of strange because the sidewalks were open, so you could kind of go around the police, but they took up a very intimidating and threatening stance, blocking the street, seemingly blocking the 15 or 20 protesters who were behind chanting. So gradually the protesters kept yelling, and the NYPD cleared off to the side. The NYPD that were on bikes cleared off to the side, but it's absolutely unacceptable that that happened. It's absolutely unacceptable that marchers would be met by a row or a line of police. It's ridiculous that the NYPD would try to block access to the parade, or provide access to some but not others. And it was completely arbitrary. And HOP volunteers who are working the gates have been kind of seemingly just arbitrary about who they let in and who they don't.
Resistance is justified! Our people are occupied! Resistance is justified! Our people are occupied!
I'm here with ACT UP New York. We're here to protest the high price of PrEP. We want a generic PrEP is pre-exposure prophylaxis. Pre-exposure prophylaxis is an anti-HIV pill that you can take daily to prevent HIV. And we want a generic version of it from Gilead Sciences, who is the drug maker. And currently it costs over $1,000 a month to purchase PrEP on the market, which is completely awful and unacceptable. Our public money went into the funding, the R&D for that drug. So we should have a say in how it's priced and how long the patent goes.
Hi, I'm Mark Sebastian. I am with Voices For. We are a direct action, nonviolent advocacy group dedicated to fighting for global queer liberation. Today we are here marching for those who cannot, which is a reference to both ACT UP and Gays Against Guns, who are sort of our parent organizations. Marching for those who cannot means many different things, but it could mean for victims of the HIV/AIDS crisis. It could mean for immigrants who are not able to march because they're undocumented. It could mean for people who are not comfortable or don't feel safe in marching in a pride parade. It could mean a bunch of different things. We are part of the resistance contingent, yes. In total, Voices has about 500 to 600 members. We have a lot of our main members here today. There's about, I think, I'd say like 100 of us today. Voices is really unique as we have a very young sort of congregation of people. It tends to be under 30, millennials. No, not congregation, sorry. Just more of a gathering. We bill ourselves as activism with no experience required, so it's an activism without the intimidation. We just want to make people get up, get out, start doing things without having to make it so scary. If you'd like to join Voices For, you can come to the LGBT Center on West 13th Street Wednesdays from 8 to 10 p.m.
My name is Victor. I am with the Black and Pink Abolitionist Group. We're an LGBTQ abolitionist group that wants to get rid of prisons in general. We also have pen pal services for prisoners in jail. And as you can see, we're very supportive of all the LGBTQ or community in prison and outside of prison. So please come and remember us who are locked up and break the chains. Right now, there's 3 of us here, but we are nationwide, all across the country. Any state you're in, you can find a Black and Pink organization chapter. And we will give you resources, and you're set.
It's blackandpink.org.
Hi, I'm Mark Lydorf. I'm with Sing Out Louise, which is the queer resistance choir, the Resistance Queertet. We're the sister group of Gays Against Guns and Rise and Resist. And we're here to sing out against the NRA, number one, but also this fascist in the White House and the whole crew of shifty, grifty Republicans in Washington. We're part of the resistance. We're hoping that we can model a form of protest that people all over the country can take part in. And that's what we're about. They're singing my favorite Rights right now, which is a co-creation of 2 of our members, Kim Miller and Jeremy Chung. It's about our right to protest, on First Amendment grounds, that we can stand up to the government, we can call them assholes because of the Constitution. Then I don't feel so bad. Angry with Congress, shouting them down to make them keep their promise, going to school feeling safe day and night. These are a few of my favorite rights. When the news sucks, when the jerks win, when I'm feeling mad, I simply remember the Constitution, and then I don't feel so bad. What did he do today? Whoa, we're only saying stay there for good, Mar-a-Lago, Mar-a-Lago, oy vey. So we at Sing Out Louise and Gays Against Guns, we're marching with the resistance and reclaim pride because we want to stand up to the commercialization of the gay movement. Stonewall started as a riot. It started with trans people standing up to a violent police force here in New York City almost 50 years ago. And that struggle is continuing today, not just for trans folks, but also for people of color, for gay people across the board. And that's why we really have to be here every year. We really have to be here. Oh, you can find us at singoutlouisenyc.org or gaysagainstguns.net. Get in the streets, get involved, get out there and vote, resist, sing. We got to bring these down.
No cops! No corporate pride! Liberation can't be right, no cops! No corporate pride! Liberation can't be right, no cops! No corporate pride! Liberation can't be right, no cops! No corporate pride! Liberation.
In a spectacular contingent, Gays Against Guns had 100 people, all wearing long white veils and white clothing, holding pictures of people killed by gun violence, and marched in silent procession.
My name is Joy Tomer. I'm from Sydney, Australia. And I'm here, well, I came all the way from Sydney to celebrate Pride with the New Yorkers and US in general, but I'm here with Gays Against Guns in particular, because I wanted to come as an act of solidarity to march with them, because guns are not only killing US citizens, but they're killing gays, lesbians, trans, intersex, queer people. And we can't let that keep going. It has to stop. The government's not going to stop it. People in the streets are going to stop it. And we've come all this way to join you in the streets, to say we're happy to stand with you, because we have good laws in Australia, because our government took a stand, a very conservative government, very conservative, but they took a stand because they knew the population of Australia would never tolerate it. And you must never tolerate it. It must stop. There has to be a ban against guns here. Has to. That's why we're here.
I'm Ray Atchison with International Queers Against Nukes, and we're queer and allied activists from the international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons, which won the Nobel Peace Prize last year. And we're marching here to protest nuclear weapons, and we're marching in solidarity with Gays Against Guns and all the other resistant contingent that is against violence and war. Thank you.
I'm Ari Beezer. I'm with the International Queers Against Nukes, and we're fighting to abolish nuclear weapons because a world without nuclear weapons is a lot more equal for all of us.
My name is Marcelo Maia. I'm with ACT UP New York and also with a group called Brazilian Resistance Against Democracy Overthrow. And we are here to call for the freedom of President Lula, who is a political prisoner in Brazil. He's being held because he's in first place for this year's presidential elections. So they don't want a worker in power anymore in Brazil, so they are holding him hostage in prison without any crimes or any proof that he committed any crimes. So Brazil is in a terrible state now. Democracy has been toppled over there, and we are here to protest it.
My name is Edva Aguilar. I'm from São Paulo, Brazil. I'm here to attend my son, but I have some friends here that they are activists too. We have a coup in Brazil, very bad coup for 2 years, and we need our president back. Dilma is our president. Temer, no. We don't elect him. I need Dilma because Temer is destroying Brazil. He's destroying our rights. He's destroying our sovereignty. And the LGBT rights too. It's a bad situation now. We need help.
Oh, people can look for us online at Facebook and on Twitter at Brado NYC. We are meeting very often, and we're promoting cultural events and also protests in the streets whenever a Cucamonga from Brazil comes here. Last one was Judge Moro, who came for a dinner at the Museum of Natural History, and there were like 80 people demonstrating against his presence there under torrential rains for like 2 hours. So Brazil needs your help. We are left alone, and the powers to be in Brazil, which the elites in Brazil, they're really committing a crime and promoting genocide in Brazil. They froze investments on health and education for 20 years. That translates in genocide, especially for poor people.
No barricades, no wristbands! 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 No barricades!
At the reviewing stand, Heritage of Pride announcers were stunned by a protest by Reclaim Pride. Some members of the group held a 15-foot-long banner fashioned to look like a wristband, with no wristbands written on it. They then proceeded to slowly rip this banner to shreds, while others were using hundreds of wristbands that had been fashioned into long looping chains and were then used to play tug of war, with the goal of also ripping them to shreds in defiance over the proposed use of wristbands for every marcher in the parade. Next year is the 50th anniversary of Stonewall. Both activist community, Heritage of Pride, and the police see this year's march as a trial run. Activists hope to overturn many of the regressive policies of the police and Heritage of Pride, and to enlarge the anti-corporate and anti-policing contingent. They also hope the police presence to be dramatically reduced.
25 years ago, ACT UP organized a separate march, a counter march for people who wanted to participate in something that represented them, that was political, that did not represent corporations, that represented what they felt like Stonewall meant. And I think we should do that again. I think next year we should be done with this, with Heritage of Pride, and organize our own event, and our own community event that's in recognition of the 50th anniversary of Stonewall.